Hello stars, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today we're going to talk about my I130 process, NVC process, documents I submitted at the NVC, what happened during medicals. I know you want to get the vibes, and also the questions I was asked during my interview, my CR1 interview. My husband filed, we received our receipt number, and immediately we started checking our case online because he did e-filing. He filed online. So our case apparently was supposed to take about 12 months. We went from 12 months to 7 months, from 7 months back to I think about 13 months. 13 months. It was just fluctuating 7 months, 2 months, 3 weeks, to the process taking longer than expected. When your case goes from your process is taking longer than expected, know very soon you're going to be approved by the USCIS. So all you gotta do is be patient. So our case took apparently from 3 weeks, when it was 3 weeks to being approved, it changed to your process is taking longer than expected, and it took about 2 months for us to get approved by the USCIS. And when we got approved, we were super duper excited. When we got approved by the USCIS, it took 5 days for us to receive our welcome letter from the NVC. So this welcome letter entailed invoice ID and case ID. When we got our invoice ID and case ID, we logged into the site immediately and started submitting the documents with code like ASAP. So these are the documents my husband submitted. So my husband submitted his affidavit of support, tax returns, proof of current self-employment, his W-2s. He submitted his proof of US citizenship, and of course his marriage certificate. And these are the documents I was asked to submit. So I was asked to submit my passport biographic page, that is your passport picture, then photographs is your half card. A lot of people make mistakes and they put their marriage pictures, which is okay because I did same mistakes. That's what happened to me. I submitted my marriage pictures instead of the half card, but I eventually submitted the half card. I submitted my birth certificate, my marriage certificate, police certificate, and of course photographs. For us in Cameroon, our police certificate is different from non-conviction. So we were asked to submit a police certificate. So I went and did mine. I think it cost at the time about 25,000 francs or so. Yeah. So I did my police certificate and we submitted everything. We made sure we did that in less than a week. Yeah, because if you delay, you eventually delay yourself from being DQ'd. So when we got DQ'd, immediately we booked for medicals. Like I said in the previous video, medicals has to be done 3 weeks before your interview. So this is when the gist begins. I booked for my medicals on the 9th of January. So I went for medicals. So that morning I was about my appointment time was at 8 a.m. So I went an hour late. That's what happened to me. I went an hour late for this appointment, medical's appointment in Douala. I think Polytechnic Clinic is what they call it. So I went about an hour late. I went there and they told me to go back home. I am late. They told me to go back and I'm late. I should come back a week later. And if I come back a week later, I'm going to have like 2 weeks to my interview. And I'm not sure if the results will be ready before my interview. So I just had to do what they asked me to do. I couldn't do otherwise. So other people came late as well. So they told them to go back. I mean, people from far. People came from Bamenda. People came from Kumba. People came from afar to do their medicals, and they were sent home, which was very sad, but I don't blame them. I mean, I was an hour late. My appointment for medicals was on Monday, so I came back on Friday to do my medicals. So this is what happened. I came early. I was with the first person. I mean, we learned from our mistakes. I was the first person to be there. So they opened I was there at 6. They opened at 7:30 to 8. Yeah, so that what happened. We all entered. I was the first person, so they attended to me first. We entered, and the first thing they said was switch off your phone. If you want to pick calls, you go outside and take your calls. No noise. They told me to enter one room. Took my urine for pregnancy test. They gave me 3-in-1 vaccination. I think it entails polio. What else? Anti-tetanus and something I've forgotten, but that was a 3-in-1. And you also have to do your COVID vaccine. You have to do. If you don't do it, they'll give it to you there. We paid 100. I paid 145,000 francs for my medical. That's the amount you pay. If you don't have a vaccination card, you're gonna pay 1,000 francs extra for that. So after that, they told me to sit down and wait for the doctor. So I sat down, waited for about 30 minutes. They took my passport picture. I went inside a room to meet the doctor. So the doctor was just basically asking me questions. When was my last period? How old am I? Do I have any chronic illness? You know, just basic questions. Can I see well? Do I have any eye problem, any eye issues? And he did a physical examination. Yo, those people are going to invade your privacy. They did a physical examination, checked my stomach, my heartbeat, like everything. I was literally naked. Well, I had my pants and bra on, but you know, you're gonna invade your privacy. So that's what happened. After that, they sent me to another hospital to do a chest scan, because that hospital where you do your medical, they don't have all the machines. So they sent me to another hospital to do a chest scan. So I went to another hospital, did the chest scan, and that was it. I went home, getting ready for the interview, y'all. The interview. So my interview was the most interesting part, y'all. Like, it was really interesting. I went there. My appointment was at 7:30. I went there really early. I went there at 6. People came an hour later. That's like 7 other people came and were queued up. So 30 minutes later, that's at 7:30. My appointment was at 7:30. So 7:30, the security guard was like, if you have a bag, if you have anything in your bag, step aside, make another line. So I didn't have anything. They said, if you don't have anything on you, go ahead, enter inside. So we went and entered inside. They took our passports, put a tag on it. They checked our name just to make sure we have an appointment on that day. You know, so they took our passports, put a tag on it. If you have a phone on you, they'll take and keep it for you. Yeah, and they gave us like a transparent file to put our stuffs inside. So we did that. They scanned us just to make sure we don't have anything on us. So we went inside and sat down waiting. One lady came and took our documents to put inside that transparent envelope. So the documents they took to put in that transparent envelope was my marriage certificate, my original marriage certificate, of course, my birth certificate, my passport, 2 half-card pictures, and what else? And my non-conviction. So those were the documents they put inside that transparent envelope. And they asked us now to, we're actually waiting somewhere inside the embassy. And they asked us now to enter inside the embassy for the interview. My heart was literally beating, y'all. These were the documents we were asked to bring for our interview. We were told to come along with our medicals, because for medicals they'll send it online. They'll send it to the embassy online, of course, but they'll give you a brown envelope. You have to bring it alongside. So you have to bring your original birth certificate, original marriage certificate. I took my certificate of non-conviction, medical examination report, like I said earlier, 5x5 passport photograph, proof of relationship. Yo, I took enough proof. Proof of relationship, your DS-260. Bring your visa processing fee, the ones the fees you paid at the NVC. I think that's like $325. And yeah, so those were the documents I took to the embassy for my interview. And the documents I had as proof of relationship were my chats, I had pictures like screenshots of our video chats. I had audio records. I had our wedding pictures, of course. All the money transactions you guys have ever had, bring them for your interview. It's very important. And I put not employed at the NVC when I was filling my DS260. I was not employed at the time, so when I was filling my DS260, so I put not employed. If you're not employed, please be honest, just put not employed. So I didn't carry any employment documents or anything to prove that I was working also, because yeah, of course I put not employed at DS260. I also took proof to show that I'm a beneficiary to this True Life insurance. Then I took all my certificates, because you never know what those people might ask you. I took all my certificates. So when we entered inside, I mean, they basically did 2 interviews to everyone that was there. We entered inside, we sat down. Since I was the first, of course, they told me to go to the first window. I went there, and the lady was, she was basically chatting with her colleagues, chatting and laughing and smiling. Then afterwards, it took her like 30 minutes before she could attend to me. Afterwards, she was like, she turned and she was smiling. And I was like, yeah. She turned and she was smiling, and she was like, what is your name? I told her. She said, who filed for you? I told her my husband's names. She said, can I, okay, she already, when you go there, you give the transparent envelope that your stuff sign sites, you give it to her. So she checked my marriage certificate, passport, she checked my birth certificate, and she gave me back the half cards that we took. For some reason, I don't know why, but she gave it back to me, and that was it. When I was done, she put my marriage certificate, my birth certificate, and my passport inside another file and took it to another window. Then she asked me to wait. So the first interview was over. She asked me to wait. Now the second interview, it was a white guy that interviewed me, y'all. A white dude. So I was sitting and waiting while they were interviewing others, and it was my turn. They called my name. Move to Windows 7, yo. So I moved to Windows 7, and the white dude, he looked at me, I looked at him, I was like, hi, he said hi, and I was all smiles. So the first question he asked was, who petitioned for you? I told him my husband. I called my husband's name. He said, can I see your pictures? The marriage pictures, of course. I didn't only take marriage pictures, I took pictures of the moment we had together, like all the pictures. I took pictures as evidence. Enough. If you have enough, take it though, because that white dude went through all of the pictures I gave to him. Also, another trick is, don't just take pictures of you and your husband. If you have pictures of you and your husband's family members, if you have pictures of your husband's family members and your family members together, please take it. It's very important. So I took my wedding pictures and the pictures of us together. Then he looked at all of them. Then he stopped at the one that my husband's brother and my dad were together, and he was like, who is this, who is that? I told him. He stopped taking another photo that we took of my family, yeah, partying with me and my husband. So he was like, is this your husband and you? I said, yeah. So after looking at the pictures, the next question he asked me was, where does your husband live? You have to cram your husband's address, your spouse's address. You have to cram it. Hey, I will not cram and sin. So then another trick is, when they ask you a question, make sure you reply immediately. Like, it was like back to back. As they're asking you, you're replying. As they're asking, you have to be confident. So when they asked, I replied. They asked, I replied. Another question was, where does he work? I told them what he does for a living and where he works. You have to know where your husband works. Have you been married before? I told them no, because if you're married before, you obviously have to bring your divorce certificate. Do you have kids? How did your husband relocate to the United States? I told them. Why hasn't, another tricky question, I wasn't even ready for this one. They said, why hasn't he come to Cameroon since we got married? And you have to tell them the truth, regardless of what. Just tell them the truth. That's all they want to know. Another question they asked was, Have you applied for a visa before? If you have, be honest. Just say yes and give them the reasons. Those were the questions they asked. And when he said, we are going to approve your visa, we're going to approve your visa, he gave me back my marriage certificate, my birth certificate, and my passport. He gave me back my document. He said, you're gonna approve my visa. He gave me yellow paper. That's when I knew that, yo, it is done, it is finished. He gave me the paper and said my passport will be ready in 2 weeks. But God is so faithful. I got a notification. I kept checking the site, and my visa was issued in 2 days. So the same week, I went and got my passport from DHL. Thank you so much for watching, y'all. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and do well to share. See you next time.